to say, but I'm looking at the time on this video, it's already 13 minutes long, so I don't want to take up your entire time, but I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, it means so much that you all are reading the book and talking about it, and I hope you'll post about it on social media. I'm sorry to say that, but it really does help. And my friends are so sick of me posting about this book constantly on social media, but it's literally in my contract, and that's how people find out about books these days, is through social media. So if you liked it, please post about it on social media, share with a friend. And actually, teachers are probably our most important audience for this book. And I know obviously you guys are outside of the US, but if you know any teachers in the US or actually anywhere, I am offering free author visits for the whole first year of the book's life. So that's until September of 2023. What year is it? No, 2022. Whatever. And also for friends and family, free Zoom author visits. I love talking to classes. I love talking to teachers. So I would love your help spreading the word and connecting with students. Doing school visits is definitely the best thing that's happened to me from the publication of this book. And I get to do some school visits where I talk to classes full of tweens, middle schoolers who've read the book, and they ask the best questions. They also just give me an insane amount of hope for the future of the world. They are so cool. They're so much better than we were at their age, or I'll speak for myself, even growing up in a fairly liberal community as I did. I grew up in Columbia, Maryland, and it's a pretty liberal, accepting place, but man, kids today are so cool. They are all, so open and have been exposed to ideas that we were not exposed to by their age. I think that's the last thing I want to say about aftermath and school shootings is I do want to tell you another cool story. Well, I don't know if I'd say it's cool, but I was doing a school visit at a school, actually a Jewish day school in North Carolina. And their whole middle school read the book, and I got a chance to get on a Zoom with them and tell them a little bit about being a writer and talk about the book and the writing process, and it was fantastic. And I think it was a teacher who pointed out during that session that a lot of parents and adults really balk at the topic of talking about school shootings, which I have come across so much more than I ever expected. Publishing this book was hard, and then even once it came out, the resistance I'm getting from parents is huge. Teachers are thrilled, kids are excited, parents are like, ooh, not for my precious child. I'm glad this book exists for the people who need it, but not for my kid. It's fascinating, and that's a whole other discussion. But this teacher pointed out that these students, and for any of us who have kids of that generation, as I do and Jordan does, and I assume some of you must, these kids never lived in a world where school shootings weren't a thing, where they weren't on their mind. Columbine happened when I was in college, so I never went to elementary school, middle school, high school with the awareness that could even happen. Or let alone the sort of barrage these days of the frequency with which it does happen. So it was fascinating for this teacher to point out that these kids, in the same way that they're digital natives, like they grew up with computers in a way that the rest of us, our generation, didn't, they've also grown up knowing that school shootings are possible in a way that we didn't. And this is interesting because it's not like it makes it any less scary, and it certainly doesn't make it any better. But these kids, it's not that they're not upset about it or scared about it. It's just part of life for them in a way that I think parents and some teachers really want to sequester. They sort of think that we can keep this secret from kids, and if we don't talk about it, maybe it won't happen, which of course is, it's like abstinence education. That's not how it works. But it was very interesting to me to think about how kids who are born after 1999, when Columbine happened, are I've never lived in a world where school shootings were not unfortunately common. They do fire drills. Here they do earthquake drills, and everywhere in America they do active shooter drills. It's just part of life. And again, that doesn't make it okay, but it does change the way they approach things like this book. It is just part of life for them. And of course, we want to change that. We want to get rid of that reality. But they were born into a world where that was part of the landscape. And I think, I see I'm getting close to like 20 minutes on this video. I'm sorry, I could talk all day. But that's been a really interesting thing for me. And like I said, I've met so much resistance with this book, and it's mostly from parents who just don't want to deal with the topic, which I get. I understand. I'm a parent too. Nobody wants to, tell their kids the hard realities of the world, but this is one of those where we have to. And I think, we're never going to see really true systemic change if we're not talking about it from a young age, because the kids know, they are aware. I think that's the most common misconception is people think, oh, kids they're not really thinking about this. It's not on their mind. They know, especially in America, it's impossible to avoid. Anyway, on that cheerful note, I just want to say I'm so delighted that you guys are talking about the book, and it means everything to me. I am writing another book. I just signed the contract for it. So I have sold my second book, but it has not been officially announced yet. So I can't tell you anything more about it, but I will soon. And so I hope we can do this again in 2 years when my second book comes out. And hopefully by then we will have gotten rid of mass shootings, and there will be comprehensive gun control in America and abortion rights for all. And, COVID will be gone. So here's hoping. I love you all. I love you, Jordan. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.